Good morning. It is Sunday and here I am. I just wanted to do a quick update. This is Maya broadcasting out the UK, and I must say I have had a terrible knitting week. Nothing's gone my way. So let's just show you the finished object. This is what I would call out of my zero waste, or should I say low waste, because that's more accurate, socks. I've done a pair of socks. However, as I told you the other day, I hadn't knitted socks since before the lockdown. I think it was the last time, and I've noticed I'd almost forgotten how to do it, and B, my gauge is completely off. Look at this, what a mess. Look, too loose, way too loose. The bind off is way too loose, and I didn't from toe up anyway. And then I started with a super small toe. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Casting on only 6 stitches. The heel Kitchener stitch, I remembered how to do that one. That's okay, and I did that with 10 stitches, so 10 is better. I also thought I'm going to keep these socks, and I noticed whilst I was going along that this wasn't quite right, but anyway, I thought I'll keep these as number 1 as experimental socks, and number 2 as an example of how not to do it. Anyway, but what I was thinking is I'll leave the lifeline in, and these are, by the way, already washed as well, because I know for a fact that I always wear my heels out. So I thought, let's see if I leave the lifeline in, let's see how that works out. So I've got 2, they're almost the same. When I say almost the same, I had a little bit more of the pink wool on this one. The height and everything is the same. And then another thing, look here. Oh my goodness. Look, ladders. My tension was completely off. Look at that. The sides on here, I don't know, I haven't knitted with single yarn either. So maybe that's also part of it. Ladders. Anyway, this side, with this wool, which was the, I think it was the Marathon. I think this was the Marathon, or was it the Regia? No, Marathon. I think this is the Marathon. Marathon and Ice. Terrible, terrible. I normally knit with double yarn, and I hadn't done single for ages. Anyway, that was terrible. And then remember I said I was going to knit a dress from the shawl yarn. I was going to do it top down, you know, neckline increase and go down. Well, I got about this much and it just did not look right in the yarn. It just didn't do well. So I frogged that one. I'm looking to the side because I've got my knitting here on the side. I frogged that one, and I've gone back to the drawing board, and I've started now on a bottom up 2 parts. So I'm not going to be doing it top down, I'm doing bottom up, and I'm doing it in parts so that I can correct things all on the way. And I'll just need to make sure this doesn't come off. Right, so here we go. So I've started bottom up, and if I zoom in a little bit, you can see it's going to be rather loose. So I'm going to go almost like a tunic. So I've got the sides, I've got garter, and in the middle is going to be just stockinette. I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to do it with the sleeves and the neckline yet. I have drawn up a sort of an idea, but after the last bit, I think I'm going to just go and see how that goes. And then I got out some more of the single balls of sock yarn, and I've restarted socks. This time again the mocha, you know, I know moccasin toe is my favorite, so this time with 10 stitches. Look, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? I mean, obviously these aren't blockers, they're still on the needles. I know there's a little bit here, but I think that will come out when it's washed, because that's hardly anything. That looks a lot better, the tension on these. Well, this is the number 1 and this is number 2. So here you go. So this is as far as I got. Well, I think I'm gonna have to call you in maybe in a week, or maybe it's going to be 2 weeks, I don't know, 14 days maybe, so that I can get some of this done. I also, oh yes, that's another thing, this is with 32 stitch, so 64 stitches in total in the round, these, and these were with 72 stitches. These are also a bit too loose, not that terribly loose, so I don't understand why. Well, it must have been only the tension with the laddering then. And these, as I said, these are 64 in total, so 32 on each side. Well, let's see how these go. I might reduce the next ones to 30. I might, but I want to wash them first and find out. So, oh, and my goodness, last night, of course, when it gets dark and you can't see properly, what happened? I dropped a whole line of stitches. And to get these back on, that was a nightmare. And let me see. And some of the thread is really thin here. It's going to worry me. I might have to darn that. Look, what a nightmare. Can you see that? Here, this is not a hole. There is actually yarn there, but it's super thin. I think I'm going to darn that before I put it in the wash. And yes, on the other side and on this side, this is where I dropped a whole line of stitches, and to get that back, you can see, oh, what a nightmare that was. Here, look, what a nightmare. You know, when you're just getting tired and the night is and it's getting dark, or you know, to the point where even with a neck light, which I've got here, I use a neck light, even with the neck light, you're just too tired. And what happened, I don't know exactly what happened, but all of a sudden, all the stitches were off the needle. All the way around to here, so I don't know how I pulled those out. I have absolutely no idea, but anyway, so that was my nightmare of a knitting week so far. Yeah, and these are weird colors. This is I think an old opal sock yarn, so they're all weird colors, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to go with the flow. On these. And this one's different, but it does have a sort of a repeat, so we'll see how that works out. You'll find out, because whatever it is going to be, I'm going to wear them anyway. And I'm waffling a bit, I'm sorry for that, but I did have a book where I put down my notes for all the socks, and I just simply can't find it anywhere. So anyway, second ones are looking a lot better than those ones. These are wearable, and I'm going to wear them. It's the how not to do them, and I'll call them ZW's zero waste socks because I don't like the word scrappy. Um, so I'm just going to use up all the sock yarn I've got bit by bit, and even if it's in tiny little bits, we'll find out. And there we go. That was a very quick update, and I'm not going to edit any of this, so I'm sorry. Hope I haven't bored you. See you latest in 2 weeks' time. Bye.